Hey everyone, Tapdawg here with Little Alchemist Helper, and today I wanted to talk about the ideas that I've come up with and some people in the community have come up with for changes to add into Little Alchemist Helper with the kind of the news that we've got that there's going to be a new owner of the game. And so if you haven't already, I highly recommend to join our Discord. I'll put a link in the description here. But on our Discord, we have a new subsection called Game Suggestions, and the owners of the game Monumental are reading it for to get ideas and suggestions. But I wanted to give a couple ideas of my own. Now, some of these you guys might have said in the Game Suggestions group, and I appreciate that, and keep putting more suggestions in there. But in today's video, this is mostly ideas that I've come up with, as well as I talked with Jay Hersko, and so I got a couple ideas from him as well. So without any further ado, I just wanted to kind of go down these in 3 different categories. One is going to be quality of life changes, which would be, I don't think they'd be too difficult to implement into the game, but they would have immediate improvements to the quality of the game, or just make it easier for the players in the game to not be as frustrated with certain aspects of the game. So I'll talk about those first. Then I'm going to talk about a couple of reworks or tweaks that I think could happen that might take a little bit more time and investment, but I think would be beneficial for the longevity of the game and to bring new players in. And then finally, I'm going to talk about the things that would take the most time to be invested in. I don't necessarily know if these would add long-term benefits to the game, but they're things that would be nice to see in the future. All right, so with that being said, let's jump into that first section, which is the quality of life changes. And I have 4 ideas to recommend to the new owners here, and I'll just kind of talk through each of these. I might put graphics up on the screen as I talk if I have anything to share. First, and this one I think should be pretty easy, and I think a lot of people would like this, would be the return of premium packs into the item shop. I know that was something that all of us would look forward to. We would, good way for the new owners to be able to get some income quickly too, because people would be buying those with gems. So I think the return of premium packs, whether it's old packs, which would be the easiest thing and the quickest thing to do, or if it's going to be new packs that they create, that might take a little bit more time. So that is not as important to me as just having the return of premium packs so people can purchase gems and also use the gems that they might have been saving up for the last couple of years. So that's the first idea. Obviously, I think a lot of people had that idea and a lot of people came up with that suggestion, but if you're talking about the quickest return on investment for the new owners, that's a great one. Next one I'd like to see, and it's probably because I have a lot of personal time invested in it, but is the addition of those backfill combos that one of my last videos I talked about before I kind of went away from this game for a couple years, was the idea of adding in those backfill combos. Now, the previous owners were given all of the data they needed. All they had to do was update their database to say, card X plus card Y equals card Z. And it's not too difficult to add that. I still have that information, so I'll probably reach out to the new owners and say, hey, if you need this information, this is the backfill combos that we worked on that seem to be working out well. Hopefully we'll get them. I don't know, but I feel like that wouldn't take too much time. And that would, one, give everyone that's currently got cards in the game another reason to use research, because I'm guessing if you've been playing for the last 2 years, you're probably out of needing to research any more cards at the time present. Maybe you still have a couple here or there, but for the most part, I would think most people would have all their researches done. So that's another way to be able to use those research slots. Next, now this one might have a little bit of controversy, but hear me out on it. I have this idea of adjusting the energy refill rate. As you remember, if you're playing against the various bosses in the various islands, it takes energy in order to play against them. And everyone has that 30 alchemist energies on the top left corner of your screen when you're playing. And the different bosses, depending on their level of difficulty and the level of rewards, have that energy, and I think it's as low as 4 or 5, and it goes up to something like 10 or 11 per use. What I'd like to see is that stays the same. You don't touch that. The bosses would still cost the same amount of energy, and the amount of energy you have, the 30 would stay the same. But the rate at which it regenerizes, or you get additional energy, right now you get 1 energy every 10 minutes. So if you used all 30 of those energies, it takes, I don't know how long that is, 300 minutes? Maybe that's not the right amount, but it takes a long time in order to refill your energy. And so it disincentivizes you to come back to the game and play as quickly as if it was perhaps 5 minutes in between or 6 minutes in between or whatever. I personally like the idea of 5 minutes, so just cut it in half. That way you would be able to refill your 30 in a shorter amount of time. What this does is it encourages the player to play more often, which I think would be helpful for Monumental. But also, the nice thing for you is you'd be able to play and gather gold quicker, so you'd be able to level up your cards quicker than previously. So I think it's a nice little compromise, a nice way to be able to get your energy again. It also make it easier for the events to be able to finish them, because a lot of times you're waiting on energy. Now the con to that is if people ever spend gems on refilling their energy, there wouldn't be as big of an incentive there, but I'm sure that they can look at the data and see, I don't think very many people would use gems for energy refills, but maybe they do. I don't know that back-end information, but in my mind, cut the regen rate in half. It'll be a benefit for everyone, and it's a quick way to get people to play it more often, the game. Finally, the last quality of life change is the removal of the fake or hacked accounts. As I've been playing on Underdog, I'm now in between the level rank 20 and 30, and one of the other players that's in there happens to have an account that has like almost 200 health. Now the maximum health you can get is somewhere around 50 or 60, so that means that this person somehow figured out a bug to be able to continue to get health, and now they're close to 200 health. That's not fun for anyone else to play against that account. In addition to that, there's another bug that's been popping up recently that I'll probably put a photo up, but sometimes when you go to play a player, you'll have 2 of the same player on there that you have to choose from. And so when you have the situation that I've had where that player that has the 180, 200 health, in 2 of those slots, you have to automatically choose the third person, because there's no way you're going to beat a person that has that much health. So I think if they were able to, as they update their systems, figure out, okay, what is happening to cause these people to have these hacked accounts and remove them, or even just listen to the players and say, hey, something looks fishy about this account, can you look into it? That's going to be helpful, and that'll be something that's quick and easy to do for them. So those are the quality of life changes. Now we're going to kind of move into suggestions, ideas for improvement. These are some, I shared one of these on live stream on Twitch. I haven't been on there very much. I got a little kiddo, so a lot of my time that I have free is spent taking care of her, or just spending time with family. So I get on there occasionally, but I don't have a set schedule. But I'll put a link in the description if you want to follow my Twitch. Usually if I get on there, it'll be during a Heroics week, and I'll just do Heroics runs on there so you can see what that looks like. But getting into it, we're going to talk about 3 ideas I have. Actually, I'm going to put 4 in there because I just remembered one I did not write down. So I'll talk about that one first before I forget it. This is a little controversial, but I think it would be a good idea to kind of wipe the slate clean for everyone who might have had their account banned or blocked because of using the time abuse bug. I know as the game stopped being supported, I think some people who didn't use the jumping forward in time still got flagged for whatever reason. And so I think it would be nice if they could just one time say, hey, new owners, we're going to give everyone a fresh start. If you make a new account, it won't be automatically flagged as cheating. I think that would also do a lot to bring back old players, because I've heard from a couple old players who tried to log back in that their account was flagged and they never cheated. And I've heard it enough and from a large enough group that I think that it's not people who actually cheated and are just trying to get it back, but it's actually people who legitimately didn't cheat and just got their account flagged for whatever reason. So that's something I don't know how they'd be able to do that, but that's something I think that they should look into. Second, I'm going to put a picture up on the screen, but I have an idea to update the ad rewards. So I play a lot of mobile games that I can do on my spare time, and quite a few of them have gone away from just this idea of you watch a video and you get a small little reward, and instead have kind of made it more of like a spin the wheel prize. And so there'll be multiple options for a prize that you can win. So this wheel that I have up on the screen is just my idea for a suggestion. As you can see, you'd still have 3 locations on there that would be giving you the dust like you normally get from watching a video. And I think what would be nice is if those had different amounts on them. So maybe one of them is the 1 dust, but maybe the next one's 3 and the last one's 5. And they can mess with the rarity in terms of how often you land on those things. Maybe you land on the one 75% of the time or something. But the idea being that it incentivizes you to do it because there's a chance you get a greater reward than just the single dust that you get while watching a 30-second video. But also on this prize pool, I've got 3 coin spots. And again, same thing. Maybe the small one's 50 or 100 coins, and it goes up from there to maybe a 200, and the big one's 1,000. You know, and again, the rarity there, you get the 1,000 maybe once a month or something. So it's not like you get it every single time. But that's that one. Then there's also on there the energy refill. So that would be the potion-looking one. One of the games I play, I actually wait to do my spins until I've used all my plays because they have the ability to regenerate you and then you can play again. So I think that would be another item that would be nice on here. But in addition to that, what it could do is maybe, I said before your cap is 30, but let's say you spin the wheel and you haven't actually done your challenges yet, and so you already have a maximum energy, then maybe it would double it to, you know, you added 10 energy, so you have 40 out of 30, or you have 45 out of 30, whatever it is. And so you'd actually have extra energy that you'd be able to use. You wouldn't regenerate anymore at that point, just like you don't once you get to 30, but you'd have extra energy. And then 2 other things that are on here. One is the gems. I think it'd be nice. That could be a very rare thing, maybe a 1 or 1 to 5% chance that you'd get those, but it'd have 1 to 3 gems or maybe even higher, 5 to 10 gems. Just a nice little way to incentivize people. And then the final one there is that mystery one. And I think it would be nice to have that on there, and it'd be a super rare one. Like I said, maybe you get it once a month or something. And that one could either be a handful of different things. Could be a combination of all these items. So maybe you get some coins, some dust, some energy, and some gems. Or maybe it's you get a Onyx upgrade boost, or even maybe a gold combo card or something like that. Whatever it would be, the idea is you get something that's super rare and you'd only get it very, very little often. But the nice thing is, for the owners of the game, it would encourage people again to watch these ads, because instead of just getting a single dust, they're getting the option for quite a few different prizes. So that's one idea I came up with. Another idea I came up with, and I'll put this on the screen too, is the idea of a daily login bonus. So one of the other games that I play every day encourages you, or it incentivizes you to log into your game daily. And so I just kind of ripped off the picture that they use, but I apologize, I have paint. I'm not a Photoshop expert or anything, so I just used paint and copied and pasted. But the idea would be that if you log in for 5 days in a row, you get login bonuses every single day, or it could be 7 days, or it even could be a month. One of the other games I play does it for 15 days. If you log in for 15 days, at the end of the 15 days, you get a special bonus. This one I used was just a 5-day because I didn't want to have to copy and paste all that many times. But so my example here shows that on the first day when you logged in, you got 100 extra gold for logging in that day. The next day, you get 3 dust. The following day, day 3, you got 2 gems. Day 4, you get 2 gold upgrade boosts here. And day 5, you get that random extra special prize. So again, this is just an idea. They can do whatever they want, but I think the idea of a daily login bonus is going to encourage people to log in, especially if the idea is to get new players. This is something that a lot of games will do to encourage people to log in daily, because they'll get that daily login bonus. My last idea for these kind of improvements or changes that won't take as much time. I don't think updating the ads rewards or putting in a daily login bonus would take too much developer time to do. And I think they'd be able to get some benefit out of that as well, the new owners. But this last one is, I don't know what this would become. This could take a long time. They could do the easy thing, but that would be to update or fix the friends feature. I think when the game first came out, everyone was using Game Center, and so you could add friends via Game Center. But two problems with that. One, people on Android, they don't have a Game Center, so they can't actually add friends. And even people on iPhones can't add friends anymore because Game Center no longer has that same functionality that it had when it first came out. So I think it'd be nice if they could update or fix that so we could add each other, have friends on there. The other issue with that is when you try to battle people, whether it's on Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or even just other people who are playing the game at the same time as you, it doesn't really work. You have to both click it at the exact same moment and hope you both clicked it at the exact same moment or else it won't work. And I did that one time on live stream. I was like, let's play against each other, guys. And so I tried to play people and I just sat there and after 30 seconds, it'd time out and say there's no one available because it just wouldn't work, unfortunately. So I think if they were able to update that, let you have friends and you could even maybe request to battle each other and do live battles, that would be great. Again, I don't know coding enough to say if that would be a quick, easy thing or a hard thing. The other thing a lot of people mentioned in the Discord was the idea of clans or guilds. I don't personally understand what the point of that would be. I guess you'd have to create a whole new system for that. If there was a good purpose or a reason to have clans or guilds, then I could see doing it. But how this game is currently, I don't think that's needed. But if they fix the friends and you could battle against each other live, that could be cool. All right, now we're going to get into the last section, and I'm sorry this is a long video, but I wanted to go over my personal ideas, and then at the end, I'd like to hear from you guys. But these are going to be items that would probably take a little bit more time and investment on Monumental's end, but I think they could be game changers, or they could be helpful in one way or the other. So first, and this is one I think a lot of people have requested, is to improve or update those timed events. I can't tell you how many people have jumped into our Discord and said, I just battled the last person in the library and now I have these events, should I start them? And then they don't know what they're doing and they miss out on the events. A large amount of people in our Discord never got to play the timed events because they didn't know when they happened or they missed them. So I think maybe it's an annual thing, maybe every month one of those events pops up and you can play it, and that'll be your chance to get those gold combo cards that you missed out on. That's one idea, quick idea. Or bring them back in some capacity. I don't know any more details than that, but I just hear from so many people who miss those events, and that's how the game currently is. That's the only way you can get gold combo cards easily, outside of waiting in heroics and spending your skulls on them. So if they could improve or update those times events or even bring them back, that would be great. Another thing I heard from a lot of people was the idea of making the heroics be a weekly thing instead of a bi-weekly. I personally am okay with them being bi-weekly. It gives me a week off. When you have, it's not as bad with Underdog because he can only go through the first 10 bosses, but when I had Tapdawg, I could usually get through the first 3 rounds, or maybe even get to the 4th round to the end. I can't remember, it's been so long, but it would often take me an hour to go through those heroics. And so that's a chore when you're trying to do that every day. And I just couldn't do that every single day, every single week. So I think having it bi-weekly is fine. But I think the idea of having those timed events come back, like I said, maybe once you have it for a week every month, and it'll be the first, in January, you'd go maybe January 7th to 14th, and that's the Huntress event, and everyone in the game can play it. And maybe there's even the top 10 people will get an extra Onyx version of the boss or something, or they get something special. They could do that the whole game wide. But the idea there is just bring them back or update them, improve them for all the people who missed out on it. Next, this is one that's, I'll put a couple pictures up here, but when you get to the end of the second island, you have the Little Alchemist and the Master Alchemist there, and they basically said, oh, we defeated my dark brother, but I wonder if he'll ever come back. Well, why don't we bring him back and have that third island? One thing is, I don't think we need to have as many bosses as those first 2 pages have. There's so many there, and I only use the same boss over and over again. I always fight Ivana. We had a discussion about this on the Discord the other day about which bosses you fight, and most people have their single boss that they fight. So I don't think it's as important to keep adding 20, 30, 50 bosses there. You can just make it 2 or 3 little spots, but just continue adding the story. And you can update them over time. So maybe you add one little port hub there, and then it has 3 bosses in it or 4 bosses in it, and then you get the next one a couple months later, and it just continues that storyline. But I like the idea of continuing the storyline. Maybe the Little Alchemist will become an actual alchemist, or grow or learn, or I don't know. The idea there is just continue the story, add the 3rd island. And then my last idea, and this one came from Jay Hursko. I don't think it's difficult per se. It should have gone into the quality of life, but because I think it might be a lot harder than I'm thinking, I'm going to put it down here. But in Heroics, when you're battling, in between each battle, you can go back to the screen. It'll show you who the next boss is, what your current wins are, and all those details. I'll put it up here on the screen. What would be nice is if you had the ability there to see a couple things. See how many cards are left in your deck. Have a quick change option so you can change what class you are. Every time I'm playing Heroics, halfway through, maybe multiple times throughout the rounds, I'll have to go back, all the way to my deck, change my deck type from Master Alchemist to Master Healer, and then go back. It'd be really nice if you could just go from that screen, I want to change from Master Alchemist to Master Healer, or vice versa. And the other nice thing would be able to see what, now this one I know maybe it'd be too hard to see, but it'd be nice to see what the boss is going to be. If they're going to be a healer, an elementalist, or a alchemist, or I can't remember the name, sorry. If they're going to be red, blue, or green, that's the easy way to say it. Are they going to be healing themselves the whole time, attacking you, or just building their overall stats? So any of those types of changes would be helpful on that screen and make it a whole lot easier. I don't know if it's possible or how long it would take. I think the previous owners were looking at doing that, but obviously they never did that. But that would be a nice quality of life change, but also a really helpful change in Heroics. But I think that's pretty much it. This has gone way over the time I thought it would, but I want to do a second video. And so what I'd like to do is, if you have ideas, put them in the comments below. And the ones that get the most likes, feedback, or the ones I just think are cool, for ideas that you maybe didn't hear me talk about, or ideas that you have to change this game, put them down there. And in that second video, I'm just going to talk specifically about ideas and suggestions you have. If you have pictures if you want to draw, or you even have a video that you want to record, put it down there in the comments too, and I will include it in the next video, because I want to hear from you guys, and I want Monumental to hear from you what changes and ideas you have. But with that being said, that's all the time I have. I'm sorry I've wasted almost 25 minutes of your life today, but hopefully we'll see some, if not all, of these changes added in 2021. Also, welcome to 2021. It's just like 2020 so far, but hopefully it gets better. But that's all the time I have. Take care. Bye.